So the question today is, what do American women find unattractive in a British man?
I wonder if one of the boundaries that stop American women from being attracted to British men are the stereotypes about them. For example, maybe they're too formal or too uptight or not very forthcoming with their emotions in American women's head. Or there are in fact very positive stereotypes about British men, such as being a gentleman, being very worldly and intelligent, and perhaps when they don't quite live up to these massive expectations, they fall short, then American women just like,
Or even the reality is the perception, but the perception actually after a while isn't quite what you want.
You might not see eye to eye on certain things,
Yeah.
and you might not necessarily understand each other sometimes. And then it's like, oh, well, I thought I wanted this, but actually I want,
Something.
my own culture.
Yes, I think sometimes you're sold a dream, aren't you? Like, so American women are sold this dream of what their ideal British man's going to be. And quite often a dream doesn't live up to reality.
No, most of the time not. One slightly awkward thing that can sometimes happen when Americans come to the UK, British people have I think mostly it's fun, like a tendency to put the US down quite a lot, poke fun, make jokes, speak quite negatively about it, which my Americans don't always like.
Well, of course not, no. I mean, I think it's an inbuilt thing in the British to feel they're superior to everybody else, traditionally. And I think it's a little bit of jealousy as well.
Yeah, and I think it can come as a shock. Like other European countries probably expect the British to be that way.
And they probably are as well.
And they're the same way towards the British. Whereas I think as Americans are so loving of us generally, it can be quite a shock when it isn't always reciprocated.
Yeah.
What about a lack of common interests or values? Maybe she loves baseball. He's never watched it before, doesn't even know what it is really.
Yeah. Maybe she's church going, has those particular beliefs, and he's not that type at all.
Yeah, the turnout for church is a lot bigger in America than it is in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think even people who don't go to church would say that they believe in something.
Yes.
They have some kind of feeling about God and like higher powers, whereas I think a lot of British people do, but there's also a lot more comfort in saying I'm an atheist.
Yes.
Which out here might get you
I
some
don't hear many people say that here,
No,
do you?
no.
Yeah, but they do say it over there. It's just is, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. In comparison, men in Britain are more reserved. They're not as outgoing or as open as their American counterparts. For an American woman who's used to American behaviour, finds that as a turn-off, actually.
Yeah, I think British people, when dealing with intense emotions, sometimes
clam up.
Yeah, it can be quite hard for us.
Yes.
And we just need some time to process. Whereas I think in America, the tendency when you're feeling something intense is for it to come out in some way.
Yeah.
Americans kind of have this like bottle of pop kind of feeling about them that it just comes out,
Yes.
And I think British people,
Bottle it up
particularly British
more.
men, sometimes do just
go inward, and think about it a little bit more, perhaps.
until they have a few drinks, and that's when you feel it.
Yeah. British men don't often exude confidence the way American men do. They're a little bit more controlled, and they're not as loud and not as outwardly positive and get-go. So they come across as less confident. Oh, and decision making. Like in America, the decision is made and you do it.
And then you take the action.
You take the action. In Britain, there's a lot of, well, maybe if we did this or if we did that.
Oh yeah, a lot of back and forth. I know that a lot of Americans find that quite frustrating.
Yeah, and I think they find the British men not quite so direct.
Yeah, I can understand why that might be a turn-off. If you want a man who's going to take control of a situation and be a leader in that situation, you might find it in a British man, but I would say less, obviously.
We're talking generalisations here,
Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot more faffing and, what do you think? And whatever you like, just go, there's probably going to be a lot more of that. So that might be something that throw a lot of American women off.
Yeah, exactly, because they're used to the American date taking more control and taking them out on the date, choosing where to go, paying for them, whereas a British guy might be okay with them paying and think, I've taken her out a number of times and she still hasn't dipped into her pocket.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
First date, a lot of British guys probably would offer to pay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then the next date, the expectation might be on you, and I think that might be quite strange for some American women.
Yeah, for some, for sure, yes.
I think in Britain there's a strong sense of tradition with a lot of focus on history and heritage and how things are supposed to be done. Whereas in America, I think people are very open-minded.
I think they're more open to change as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, British people struggle with change.
Yes, so I think that sometimes Americans will actually embrace change much more than we would in the UK, I feel. There's a different attitude there to life in general, which takes a bit of adjustment.
It does.
And it might put some American women off.
Yeah, like if you're all excited about a new job or something and he's like, oh no, it might seem like a bit of a downer maybe.
Yeah, it might be.
Dampen the American spirit.
Yeah, so also there could be kind of communication differences, with regional accents playing a part, different phrases that we use. We're supposed to be speaking the same language, but that isn't always the case, is it, as we well know?
American English is very different in many ways to British English. And again, just the way that our attitudes are reflected through language. Like we were talking to our family on Skype earlier, and my dad and granddad were moaning about how many people in Britain now will wish you have a nice day.
They hate it.
Hate it. Just the way people express themselves linguistically might cause communication issues and might make British people just sound kind of gloomy.
Apparently, it's not only American women. Britons are one of the most ugliest people in the world, according to a dating website that only lets beautiful people join.
So wait, is this just the men?
This is the women too.
So we shouldn't sit here looking smug is what you're saying?
No, definitely not. It includes the women. Those who are already members, people from all over the world, they screen these new applicants. If they give them a thumbs down, then they're out. There are not that many Brits who are part of this dating website, beautifulpeople.com. Only 1 in 8 British men have been accepted to beautifulpeople.com, and only 3 in 20 British women.
3 in 20 British women?
There are only 2 nations that fare worse than the Brits.
I guess not the Americans.
No, it's not the Americans. The only 2 nations that have uglier men than the Brits are the Russians and the Polish.
We found out that Swedish men are the most successful on beautifulpeople.com. 65% of them are accepted.
Wow.
And for women, Norwegian women.
Oh, so still Scandinavian. So...
Yeah. Oh, they're all tall and blonde.
Yeah, exactly. But you were British.
I know, only 3 in 20 of us.
Would you be one of the 3?
I don't know, I'm scared to apply, to be honest. I don't know if my self-esteem can handle such a thing.
I know mine can't.
We've done a bit of research and we've found some things that, according to science, make you appear unattractive. Sleep deprivation, big one. Being mean. Stress, looking too happy or too proud. Not being humble.
Oh, we said that, didn't we, about British guys in the last video being humble as part of their culture.
I think as a nation we're pretty humble.
We have a lot of reason to be.
Not having a sense of humour. Can't get Brits for that.
Most Brits have got a good sense of humour.
Yeah, I would say so.
So a recent YouGov survey actually went out and surveyed British people. They asked the question, what percentage of people you meet in your everyday life are attractive? So this is the perception of the British on the British that they meet every day. Here are the results.
The average British person says the people they meet in their daily lives are about 1/3 attractive, half are alright. Sounds so British, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah, right.
16% are just plain ugly. So actually we're quite positive about how we look.
I don't think we think we're as bad as everybody else does, because they're quite high percentages on the unattractive or alright scale.
Yeah,
it's only 16% but ugly.
So I think it's important to, as much as you can, accept your differences and celebrate your differences.
Yeah.
So let us know, would you date a British man? Would you love to date a British man? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below.
And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, maybe share with a friend and subscribe to us on YouTube. It will really help us out.